Hey, folks. I'd like to thank you for checking out this newsletter. I'm glad that you're a part of Renew. I'd like to share a story about a lady named Gabby, a wonderful, delightful, precious soul named Gabby. I met Gabby and her husband, Jason, while I was teaching at Basel University or Basel Seminary this last August. I and a team of people from Renew were going to a couple countries and doing some teaching and things like that. Gabby and her husband are pastors in Austria, and they made the journey up to Basel to attend this 2-day seminar that I was doing. And the main reason was that they wanted to share with me the difference that this vision of the kingdom, the vision of the kingdom that we promote, has made in their life. The Jesus-looking God building a Jesus-looking kingdom, and it just has revolutionized the way they look at the world, the way they understand God, the way they do everything, the way they do ministry. They came in contact with this way of thinking first about 8 years ago. And that happened to be the same time that Gabby found out that she had ovarian cancer. And she just shared with us about how this vision of God, the warfare worldview, all of that has helped her so much in processing the struggle that she's had over these last 8 years. Well, I got to have a conversation with Gabby last week. Unfortunately, the cancer has returned, and this time with a vengeance. It's on her kidney, and it's beginning to shut down. The doctors have said there's nothing more they can do for her, and she's probably only got a matter of weeks to live. And so they emailed me and asked if I would be willing to Skype with them, which I am just honored to do. So we had the Skype conversation last week, and it was a kingdom moment. It was just a sacred moment. I just feel honored to have had a chance to say goodbye to her, basically. We still are praying for healing, but there's no inconsistency with admitting that it doesn't look like you're going to be healed, but we'll keep on pressing in this direction, because faith isn't psychological certainty. Faith is just a commitment to push in a certain direction. And so there are people still praying for healing for her, but it does look like she's going to die at this point, and she needs to be preparing for this. And so we talked about life, and we talked about death, and just various ways that we can make this transition in a godly way, in a way that is as least painful as possible. One of the things I encouraged her to do was to just spend time reflecting on your life and thanking God for every single thing that has been positive. Because it's all been, every good gift comes from the Father above. And to just be, she's dying way too young. She's 46 years old. And it's a tragedy to lose someone like Gabby at that age. But she's had 46 years, and we're not promised the next day. So give God thanks for that. And then we talked about this, the thing that makes death scary and painful, beyond the physical pain, and she's in quite a bit of physical pain. What makes it scary is that it involves letting go of something that is familiar and launching off into something that's utterly unfamiliar. It's a matter of letting go of something that is certain, this reality, to launch off into something which feels uncertain. And that's scary. It's a lot like being born, I imagine. The baby in the womb is there, and it's nice. The only reality it knows is inside this womb, and it's got all its needs met, and it's warm and secure. And now all of a sudden, there's a painful process of going through this very narrow canal into a completely unfamiliar world. That's very much like the process of death. We're being born into a different kind of reality. And I encourage Gabby to start that process now. Don't wait till the very, very end. To start that process now, letting go of this world, and to start launching off into that next world. And I shared with Gabby that she shouldn't feel the need to try to muster up the energy to keep on having faith for healing. Other people can do that. Right now, her full-time job, I encouraged her to see it this way, her full-time job is to be preparing for this major transition in her life. And part of what that involves is just letting go of this world, and then envisioning heaven. Begin to just envision heaven, what that would be like. Because see, the more we imagine that, the more real it becomes to us. The thing that makes it scary is that, for a lot of people, is that it doesn't feel real. But as we live in that world, it takes on more reality. And that lessens whatever fear there might be. Now, Gabby is not afraid. I think she's been living in this world for quite some time. She's a courageous woman. But that those who are afraid, that's what kind of grabs them. And so the practice of just envisioning this, it's a lot like the analogy I used was if you're going to move to a different country, well, take visits there to start getting familiar with it. And you do that by means of your imagination. And then we talked about the role of music in this. She is a lover of classical music, and music is a gift from God. It opens up our hearts and minds to just receive what the Spirit has for us. So I encourage her to listen to her favorite music as she's doing this exercise, envisioning the process of dying, letting go, saying goodbye, and then launching off into this new realm. I shared with her an experience that I had with a particular song, probably 16, 17 years ago. It was a short while after a friend of mine, some friends of mine, had lost their son, a 12-year-old boy, in a tragic car accident. And in this, as I was listening to this one song, it's by Mascagni, and it's called Cavalleria Rusticana, I believe. And in this song, it starts with this very mellow, melancholic, but beautiful violin kind of sound. And it has a bittersweet sound to it. It's kind of sad, but beautiful. And then halfway through the song, all of a sudden this majestic organ comes in, and it just changes. And so I was listening to this piece in a time of prayer, and I got this picture. During the mellow time, the melancholic time, this bittersweet time, I saw this young man that had died in this car wreck, although he was facing away from me, and he was standing just outside of a fence. And the other side, it was like a field, but I couldn't see much of that. But what was really significant about this vision is that it was like at nighttime, but it was filled with light, like moonlight. And it was just beautiful. It was just beautiful. But it was sad that he was there by himself. And so I'm looking at this with this beautiful moonlight, and I can't see the source of the light. I can just see the light, coming down on this man, this young man in this field. And then just as this music turns, and by the way, we have a link to this song on this newsletter. I encourage you to listen to it and just let God give you vision. But then as the music becomes majestic and the organ comes in, that's when I see his parents walk in and meet him. So they're coming towards me, and they meet him there, and they're so excited, so ecstatic to see him. And so they run towards him. But as they go to embrace him, he points towards the direction of the source of this beautiful light. And he's like saying, look, Mom, Dad, look. And they all turn, and I can't see the light, but I can't see the source of the light, but I see their faces as it's just radiating from this beautiful moonlight. And they are just overwhelmed by what they see. And it's like now nothing else matters. The time that they had apart from each other is completely forgotten. And their togetherness, what makes it, they're not even looking at each other now, they're looking at the light. They're bound together by this light and the beauty of this. And whenever I envision heaven, I never try to envision like the source of that light and beauty. I just envision people's faces as they look at it, because that's something I can understand. I know I can't imagine. It goes beyond anything we can imagine in terms of the beauty of what we're going to behold. But I envision the effect of it on people's faces or on a field or whatever. But it was just a beautiful vision. I shared that with her. It's just an example of the kind of thing that can happen. In fact, at the end of our session, I played that piece right over Skype. First time I'd ever played music over during a Skype conversation, but it actually worked. And we just sat and just together envisioned this. And it was a sacred moment. It was just, I feel so honored to have been a part of that. And then it was time to say goodbye. But it was a very natural moment. It was like we were all filled with confidence at that point that this is a temporary thing, and it's sad. But we know that this is not a permanent thing. I told her, I said, Gabby, I'm going to miss you. I didn't have a chance to get to know you very well, but just the short time we had together, my life has been blessed because of it. And so I just thank God for the time that I had with you, and I am so glad that I know that this isn't a permanent goodbye. I am so appreciative of Renew that I am able to travel places and meet folks and forge kingdom relationships and have these kind of kingdoms encounters. I appreciate all of you for supporting that ministry. I appreciate Woodland Hills Church for podcasting. That's been a source of life for these folks for 8 years. Most of all, I appreciate the fact that I know that death is not the end. Jesus Christ rose from the dead, and that is what can give us this vision to press on. So God bless you guys. Thanks for all of your support. I encourage you to reflect on this, and even now begin the practice of letting go of this world and launching off into the next, doing it by means of the imagination. God bless you guys.